You're right.
2018. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. Oh man. So this should be pretty fun. Our Florida State predictions. This is gonna be the first time we agree on a pick.
I think it will. I think it will be.
But hey, so far I'm 2-0. Maybe
I'll give him credit. I was wrong.
The streak going, so I'm 3-0, and so we keep winning just in case we don't want to risk it. Got to be a little superstitious, but not. So my first, I'm gonna look at FSU's ways to win this game. FSU in sack rate is 22nd in the country. DJ Lagway, I assume, is still going to be like a no on running. So if they can get pressure, like they still have talent on the D line. The guys haven't really fully shown it like to be a unit. They've been like individually talented players. If they do show it in this rivalry game, I mean, they could get to Lagway. Like the O-line's been good. And it's like, I mean, Lagway got sacked 3 times versus Ole Miss.
I think so.
Which they have a better pass rush, but still, I mean, Lagway had to avoid some sacks. So it's not like they were blocking them to where they only got 3 sacks. Lagway was avoiding them. If FSU can finish those sacks and they have like 5 or 6 sacks in this game, I mean, that's really their side to stop our defense. Because when you look at our offense, when you look at the rest of them on defense, they give up 4.7 yards per carry, which is 93rd in the country, and 7.6 yards per pass, which is 83rd in the country. So individually, their passing and rushing defenses are in the bottom half of the country. And I mean, you really don't. I mean, for what we expected from FSU, best defensive line in the country they were expecting. I mean, it's just not good.
No, it's not. I mean, I agree the talent's there, but it's like, it's guys like Patrick Payton who, people thought was like, I mean, I heard people say that they thought he was like draft people say they thought he was going to be better than Jared Verse.
Yep.
Has not been better than Jared Verse, not by a long shot.
He has not.
So, yeah, I mean, I think I will say that I think like, I think that's the right line of thinking here, like in terms of how FSU can win this game. Like, I don't think their defense is like abysmally bad.
No,
like it's kept them in games, and even games that they were never really in, like Clemson. Like Clemson didn't really pour it on them. It was more just grinding out a battle of attrition against a team who can't put points on the board, which is what FSU is.
So I'll also say their the passing yards was like 83rd. Their overall passing yards allowed in the game was in like the 30s, so that's not bad. But it's also like they haven't really played elite passing offenses. I mean, besides like Cam Ward and Miami. And I mean, Klubnik's gotten better at Clemson, but I wouldn't call him. I'd say Lagway is better than Klubnik right now. I'd say our passing offense is better than Clemson's.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
So what I'm looking for Florida's offense to do, I kind of just want to see us pound the rock on them. Because I think that's the easiest way to win this game by like 30 points. I mean, I was so shocked this morning when I figured out the spread. Depending on where you go, it's like between 13 and 15 points. I mean, if you're better, I feel like that might be some of the most free money that I've seen in a Florida game or really in college football this year. I don't think it's going to be a packed stadium. I mean, they're a 2-9 team. Like, I know it's a rivalry game. I don't think Florida would even pack a stadium at 2-9. And we sold out 13 straight games. So it's like, I don't think the atmosphere is going to really be a big pressure on this offense at all.
Could it be majority Florida fans? Like, is that a ridiculous thing to think?
I don't think it is. Ticket prices are still pretty high from what I was expecting. Like, I was looking, it's like $190 for the cheapest ticket on Ticketmaster, which I feel is insane. I think those prices are going to drop. But like, yeah, it might be more Gator fans. We talked about last night. We're really set the over-under for Montrell Johnson. If he's fully healthy, I'm going to set it at like 100 yards. I think he probably gets there. Jaden Ball. I mean, where did you set the over-under for him at? Like Jacoby Jackson. I want to see Montrell get like 20 carries, Ball get like 15 carries, Jacoby get like another 10 carries, rush for like 300 yards on them, and then Lagway have like 10 total throws for like 200 yards. That's kind of how I want to see us play this game. I want to see us use the run to then open up the deep shot passes, which is really how that Billy offense works.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I think if that's what you want to see, you're probably going to get that. I think that's probably a pretty safe bet. I mean, that kind of because of what I said about the defense is why, like, I think you could win this game just having Florida, DJ Lagway go crazy and just try to hit a bunch of deep balls to Mizell or Badger. I don't think Billy tries to do that, though. I don't think that's the way Billy wants to win the game. And I think he knows he can win the game pretty easily by just establishing the run and kind of playing it safe. So that's probably what I would expect him to do in this game.
Definitely. So I'm going to talk about what FSU needs to do offensively for them to have a chance to win this game. Because obviously I said they can get 6 sacks and maybe have a chance to win it. They still need to score points. So they don't do anything well on offense. They average 2.7 yards per carry. I did not think I was reading that right, but like I was. So maybe the website was wrong, but like 2.7 is probably one of the lowest numbers I've seen in college football history. So I do like their running backs, but they're not going to win this game by running all over Florida or even running decently over Florida. The way they win this game is by checking down the ball. And I know it sounds crazy, but like, I mean, Florida's been playing soft coverage the past couple of games because, I mean, teams have good receivers. But, sorry, Florida has been playing a lot of soft coverage with the injuries to our receivers. We haven't seen FSU really do well in the passing game. Croman Hook, I assume, is going to be the one that starts for FSU. I saw DJ Uliugle do have 2 passes last week, and they were incompletions. So I'm not sure if they can or even will try to check down the ball. I do worry Luke Croman-Hook is going to end up trying to play hero ball, and Florida's defensive line has been playing elite lately. We talked about Caleb Banks had 2.5 sacks, had a sack the game before. Tyreek Sapp has also like 3 or 4 sacks in the past 2 games as well. So I don't really expect FSU offensively to really even to be able to do anything. The receivers also aren't good. I mean, they're tight end. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I know they had a lot of hype for him coming out from the transfer portal, and he drops like everything thrown his way. The receivers also, Ja'Kai Douglas is okay. But then outside of that, Hakeem Williams has not developed at all really for him. I thought he was a little overrated coming out of high school, but like I'm obviously biased there. But they haven't been able to develop him really, and their other receivers also just they aren't really that good. So even if you try to check down the ball, they're going to drop the ball a lot. And our defense, the D line is going to get there. Big key thing to look at in this matchup: Richie Leonard, starting left guard for FSU. Transferred from Florida. I mean, I'm interested. We saw what Florida did to ETN. Like they're just playing normal football, but they're definitely doing it a little bit more than like how they would to a normal running back probably. And then we saw it with Princely. I mean, Princely after the game yesterday. Oh, yeah, yesterday. I mean, he was trying to fight fans. Even in his statement, it was really weird. It's like he's making a statement apologizing, but then he also blames the fans. Like, yes, we shouldn't be talking to players and stuff, but still as a player you can't really do that because it wasn't even bad. It's like they basically just said that he shouldn't have transferred. So I mean, definitely got in Princely's head. And I mean, Richie Leonard, I mean, Ole Miss was a playoff team going into that game, and FSU's 2-9. So I expect this defensive line to really eat up Richie Leonard.
Yeah, that's an interesting matchup to watch. We've gotten to see a few of these this year now with, like you said, with Princely, with Trevor Etienne. So
I did not know that. I looked at the depth chart.
I didn't know that either, honest. I got to be honest, PVB Noel, I have not been following the week to week of FSU news as much down the back half of this season. Yeah,
okay.
I mean, that's like it's hard for me to even like come up with an op because I mean this isn't even me saying that I think Florida's like a complete world beater now. I still don't, but I don't really see a way where they have a lot of issues in this game. I think what you said about the defensive line is to me so key. Like frankly, I think this is probably going to be kind of a bloodbath for Florida State in this game. Offensively, like I think with the way this defense is playing right now, and we know that, you know, protecting the quarterback has not been a strength for this FSU team. There's not really any offensive identity here. I don't think Cromanhoek's like looked horrible.
No.
I think he's looked like the best of the three guys that we've seen this year. Looks like there's maybe something there if you can put more around him, but was that 4? Who's the 4? Oh, they played Trevor Jackson too. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's not ideal. I mean, I think, yeah, like you said, just they don't have the playmakers. You know, they lost the guys that they had last year, and you know, looking at someone like Malik Benson, he's barely over the 300-yard mark on the year. Just I don't know if he's been injured or if he's just a non-factor. Honestly, I'm not positive, but like a guy that everyone sort of thought was the next guy up to replace Keon Coleman and Johnny Wilson, it didn't work out. They just don't have the juice on either side of the ball right now. But especially the offense. It's bad.
So I said it a bit ago. I don't know if you heard me. I said FSU averages 2.7 yards per carry. The thing is, if they can find a way to block, I do like their running backs. I mean, I like Lawrence Holfeely. I think he's a solid running back. Roydell Williams is a solid running back. I liked Jalen Lucas a lot before he got hurt. I was a big fan of Lucas, actually. But and they got another guy. I can't remember. We talked about him last night. Had 2 touchdowns on 3 carries and 30 yards. So, I mean, I think so. I haven't watched him, but like based off those stats, it would suggest that he is a good running back. So it's like I think they have the running backs to be a good rushing offense. They just don't have the offensive line.
Yeah, it's a problem. I mean, yeah, they went and got Roydell Williams, who was like he was fine, productive running back at Bama. Nothing like insane, but like, yeah, it's just
only guy.
Nothing going there. Just nothing going. Yeah, I don't really see like what the path is. I could see FSU like slowing Florida down enough and this possibly being a not very satisfying 24-10 kind of win or something like that. Maybe they don't even score 10, but you know what I'm saying? I could see that happening. I don't see how this gets into a 2022-esque shootout where it's Cromanhoek and Lagway going blow for blow. I don't see a reality where that happens.
Yeah, Kezia Holmes, that's who I was thinking of. Doesn't really push. He only puts him into develop, so he probably won't see much of him early on in this game to the point to where he's a reason that they have a chance. But let's get into our score predictions. You already have yours?
I mean, I'll say I've got mine. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna let you go first.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that this is gonna be a pretty easy win. Frankly, I think it could be if Billy had built this team kind of more in the style of an Ole Miss. I think this one could get really ugly. I don't think it necessarily will just because of the way that Florida plays games, but I don't think it's ever going to feel in doubt or in jeopardy or anything like that. I think it's going to be pretty apparent that Florida is the more physically dominant team on both sides of the ball. I think that's abundantly clear when it comes to the line of scrimmage, and the game's about blocking and tackling ultimately. So I'll say Florida wins. I think maybe they give up a couple garbage time scores. I'll say they win 41-14.
41-14. I'm exactly right there. I'm 42-10. Whether it's a garbage time score or an early score to where FSU is really hyped going into the game. And maybe it's a 20-7 or 17-10 or 17-7 type of score going into halftime to where it's FSU, it's Florida's dominated, but the score isn't really showing it. But in the end of the day, in the second half, Florida's going to be able to run all over them, even if they don't in the first. And Lagway's going to take over at one point if they can't run, which we will be able to run. So yeah, I'm going to go 42-10.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much right where I'm at. So I could see Florida putting the paint on in this game and it being 55-3. Would you be stunned if it's something more like that? I don't think I would be stunned.
because I don't think Billy's gonna try to do that. But like, I mean, Lagway's just so good, and I mean, our offensive line is maybe like in that top 10-ish area. Like it's not elite, but run blocking, it might be one of the best offensive lines. So like, even if their D line can stop or run a little bit, I mean, I say won't really be able to, man. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if it's like 32-0 at halftime.
Yeah. And the reason I don't think it'll be like a 55-3 is because if it's 30, we know from Billy Napier, if it's 32-0 at halftime, the final score is going to be 35-7. Like,
how healthy is Lagway right now? So I mean, he had 6 carries, or he had like 3 carries, and he got sacked 3 times against LSU. He was told not to run. I'm pretty sure you said that. McElroy said it. So he was told not to run in that LSU game. Yeah. I mean, LSU and Ole Miss game. I mean, that's the thing I said. If they get 5 sacks and like they take out Lagway, maybe it's only a 2-score game. Like, even if Warner's in there, like we've seen Warner struggle, but he's also struggling against 2 top 10 defenses in the country. And it's like FSU just isn't a top 10 defense or even top 50.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and Warner is I mean, the offense just straight up can't do anything when Aiden Warner's in the game. But even with Aiden Warner, like against Georgia, they hung in there and they tied it in the 4th quarter. Like, and the Texas game really like, sorry, what?
They ran for 200 yards, and it's like on Texas, and like it's like Texas backups, but like those Texas backups probably on the same level or worse than Florida State's offense. I mean, starters right now.
And that wasn't a game because Quinn Ewers threw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns in the first half. Like you were just getting torched. FSU's not going to do that to you. So
we should see Cormani maybe in garbage time. I mean, probably actually will. Yeah, if our score predictions are true, he'll be in the 4th quarter.
I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, he'll probably. I mean, he might be even in the rotation just because where they're at, like in terms of injuries and depth.
Florida's defense gets at least 2 pick sixes. I mean, Florida's creating a lot of turnovers as well. So, like, even if it's not picks, they're also still getting sacks, which with young QB like a Cromanhook or another QB that turns the ball over like Brock Glenn, those strip sacks can just equal the same thing as a pick. And I think Billy may try to run up the score to impact recruiting. I wouldn't necessarily put it to impact recruiting. Solomon Thomas, like that's the big FSU guy we're trying to flip. He likes FSU. Like he likes the coaches. So if Billy maybe gets a little toxic, maybe it convinces him not to go to Florida. I mean, probably not. I wouldn't say that's going to happen. But like, I wouldn't also say that he tries to do that to help recruiting. I don't think he will run up the score. It's going to be like, we're just going to run the ball. If we run up the score, it's because FSU let us, not because Billy tried.
Yeah, that seems pretty out of character for Billy Napier to try to do that. And I don't even mean it because like Billy Napier is such a good sport that he doesn't want to embarrass Mike. Like that's not what I'm saying. Billy's just style is like very much a like we're gonna like brute force our way to win these games. Like I don't think Billy ever comes into a game with the plan being we're gonna score 50 points tonight. Like I don't think that's really ever Billy's like plan for winning football games. Record for sacks.
Yeah, you will set a record for sacks this game. Bring a blitz, and we are done. The worst coached O-line I have ever seen. I mean, with Caleb Banks, Tyreek Sapp, Cam Jackson, Cam James also really stepping up, and George Gumbs also being good off the edge. Denson, didn't he help us get one of our sacks on Dart? No, I think of the LSU game. I think of the LSU game. I might be.
He didn't. He wasn't credited for it. If it was yesterday,
he wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't credited for it. I don't think. So, I mean, maybe we do bring some blitzes, and I mean, probably don't need to bring blitzes. We can probably just rush 4. Let's get there.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be clear. I think given the opportunity, he will. Like if we're saying there's like 2 minutes left, and we're on like the 30, and we're like the 50-yard line, and you're saying that he's going to pass the ball. I don't see that happening. Yeah. He's just going to run the clock out. Especially because I don't really think he's trying to develop Warner to be like the next QB. So it's not like he needs to get Warner reps, especially because it's the second to last game of the year. assuming we take the bowl game. So we will. And he'd probably rather get the young running backs and young offensive linemen. That's probably something to look out for in this game because we only had one bye game against Stanford early in the year. See some of these young offensive linemen like a Caden Jones, Fletcher Westfall, Roger Kearney, Marcus Maskell, maybe. See some of these guys in the second half, and because we might lose 4 offensive linemen this year. So, yeah. I mean, I think we'll probably lose 3 at most. Barber or Slaughter will stay probably. But like we're gonna be losing Davis and George on the right side. Slaughter and Barber maybe. Harris will still be here. But it will be nice to see the young guys on the offensive line step in. And Bryce Levette, probably my favorite offensive lineman. How could I forget him?
Yeah, the only thing I would add too is I don't necessarily think like if this is a 31-7 game and it's like a little bit sluggish, but Florida like it's never in doubt. I don't think there's going to be a question. Like I think it'll be pretty clear at that point which program is heading in the better direction. Like I don't think the margin's going to be that impactful in terms of like recruiting perception.
FSU will be too scared to throw the ball down the field. That's what I thought. But then you had the FSU fan earlier say, nope, they're just going to chuck it. I mean, maybe Mike Norvell has it into this team that they're going to need to check it down a bit. But
I mean, they do got to know that like the best way to beat us is just get guys behind us. Like that is definitely the way Florida has struggled the most in these like last few games, just giving up big plays in the passing game. So if you can, you can.
I was going to say our corners can keep up 1-on-1 with FSU's receivers. It's not like they have a Trey Harris, a Justin Watkins, or Aaron Anderson, or Kyron Lacey, Chris Hill. They don't have anyone that would be on the top 4 of either LSU or Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Like Ja'Kai Douglas is solid. So like maybe, but like I also trust that Jaquez Bridges or Dejon Johnson. And then and I don't think FSU's offense is complex to where they're going to be a Castell or a Thornton.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, I mean, I think that's maybe their best hope, but probably not realistic.
That's also the case. I mean, starting either at QB with not very good arm strength in DJ, or not very good confidence in DJ. I do wonder who they start at QB this game. Because DJ, I said I do wonder who they start at QB.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd assume Croman Hoke, but like, I mean, maybe it's DJ Huey.
When was the last time DJ played in a game?
He played. I saw him on the stat sheet for last night.
Wait, he played? He did?
Maybe
I totally thought he was like done for the year. I did not realize he was even still coming into games.
Maybe I'm wrong. I thought I saw him have 2 passes.
No, you're right. It looks like you're right. No. He hasn't played since according to ESPN.
Okay. No, he hasn't
since September 28th. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what else.
I think he's out for the year. Yeah.
So, okay. I guess I missed something.
It's probably Glenn or Croman Hoke, and I would think it's Croman Hoke.
Maybe I was looking at a different game. I don't know. So yeah, I'll probably be Croman Hook. He had 200 yards against Charleston Southern, so it's like, 200 yards against Charleston. I just don't see how we don't beat them by 30 points, 20. I'm probably going to take that spread for Florida. I don't see how you wouldn't.
What is the spread right now?
Depending on where you're looking at, it's somewhere between like 13.5 and 15.5.
Okay. Wow.
Which
I think I would take Florida to cover that also.
Unless
obviously because we've made our picks, but yeah.